What's good? What's good? What's good? You are now watching JUK Boyz Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph, here with another solo dolo episode. Hold up, we got one more light to turn on. Hold up, yeah. All right, and we are back. We are back with another JUK Boyz Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph. Thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land. Had a good Valentine's Day or a good Valentine's Day weekend. But like we always do, if you're looking for a clean, no crash, jitterless energy drink, use promo code JUK for 20% off at W.com. We will get you right. We're gonna get you right. We're gonna get you right. And wherever you're here from, whether it's TikTok, Twitch, Threads, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Um, got to 100 subscribers on YouTube, and we jumped up about like 10 to 12 more subscribers within the last week. So keep supporting us. We're loving it. We truly appreciate you all. Got two Goobs podcasts dropping at the end of the week. So make sure you subscribe at JUK Network on YouTube. Make sure you follow JUK Network on Facebook as well. And then you can follow me at KYNGRALPH on TikTok, Twitch, Threads, Instagram, add an underscore for extra Twitter. And let's jump straight into it, man. NBA All-Star Weekend just wrapping up. Or just wrapped up. Not gonna hold you. Didn't watch a lick of it. Not gonna hold you. I did not watch any of it. I seen clips here and there. I watched a little bit of the Rising Stars tournament, and then I seen clips and highlights. And something's got to be revamped. Players don't care. Players don't care. The fans don't care. So the product shows. Not sure what happened, and I don't believe in the whole like. We've seen every dunk because there's things that I've seen people that aren't in the league do that from a creativity standpoint that I think would be entertaining to watch as long as the stars or the people that were in it. And I think that that's ultimately where we're at right now is the stars used to be in the dunk contest. We had the Dr. J's, the Michael Jordans, the Dominique Wilkins, the Tracy McGrady's, the Vince Carters, the Kobe's. And then LeBron came and he stopped coming. And then after that, we started seeing stars not participating in the dunk contest. And those are the things for me where I'm just like, all right, I don't want to solely put this on LeBron, and I don't want to be that person. But when you don't have the stars participating in these all-star events, and it's just whoever the hell is in there, like my brother would say, these fuckity fucks, like these are the things for me that are kind of like put you in a position where fans aren't watching and fans don't want to see it because you just got Joe Blow and their role player, great player, love that for him, great opportunity. But for hold up. Sheesh. But when you got whoever the hell in there, and it's just not something that fans came to see, to be honest with you. And so I don't blame people, bro. I am recording, Rob, brother. You got going on, bro. It's one of those things where if you just put whoever in an all-star event, you're not gonna get the people that you think are going to pull up. And so that's why viewership is down. That's why people don't care. So the unrivaled women's basketball tournament just finished up. They did a 1v1. They did a 3-on-3 league and 1v1 tournament to wrap it up. Chelsea Gray, shout out to you, point guard of the W, gets the dub. Should the NBA adapt something like this? And I think they got to do something. I think right now 1v1 is on a hot streak. I think it would be great for the league. Something that they should at least give some thought to, among other things. But I think the 1v1 tournament would go great as long as you get players to fully participate and not have an ego. I think a lot of these guys have egos, and I think that's the difference between the W and the NBA is that I think and on the women's side they're willing to put it all out there and give everything they got. Where on the men's side, I think they're so privileged and reap the benefits of what they have that they don't have to give 100% in order to get what they're looking at or what they want out of this. And so, unfortunately, it shows in the product, and that's why we're getting half-ass NBA or not even NBA because the NFL is bad too. I think the one baseball they got something to play for, so there is some competitiveness, and I've always said that. I think if you put something where NBA, if the NBA Finals home court is on the line for whoever wins the East or West, and go back to the East West format, they would have some. Then you have something to play for. But if you're just going out there and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna throw 200,000, or I'm gonna give you another 200,000 to try to play hard," or then you try to change it to world versus the U.S. and have some pride for your country, like I think if you put something that people would truly care about, maybe something like whichever side wins gets home court advantage in the finals, I think that would be a better product. If not, something like this where you're doing a 1v1 tournament at All Star Weekend. I think that would be entertaining, but I think people just don't want to take those L's like that and that type of stage. I don't blame them though. That's be a little embarrassing. You become a meme or a viral TikTok moment. Terrible. Something else I've been seeing. Not sure. I didn't actually see him say it, but it's gained enough traction that I think he did say it. And Adam Silver contemplating what to do as far as with tanking. And I understand why it's bad. At one point, I wasn't with the tanking thing, but I think if that's what the rules are, then hey, learn what the rules are and learn how to bend them to your will. But I think that just going from a standpoint of where we're at right now, I don't have a problem tanking. You've heard me cape for the Raiders to tank. I think the Bulls are in full tank mode, um, and it's been great. And I think that blowing up the team to try to get it can work. Look at the Thunder. The Thunder traded away a bunch of big pieces, got a bunch of draft picks, turned them into Chet, Jalen Williams, eventually got Shea, um, and the rest is history. And then now look at them. I think that those are ways that you can build. Raiders get the coach, head coach, number one pick, some pieces. We can see what they're going to do with it. And so I think that you can build through the draft, and I think that that's the way to really truly build an organization rather than trying to put stuff together, transfer portals or free agents. Homegrown talent is always going to be better for the long haul. And so I think the NBA should embrace tanking. Um, I do understand what that looks like and what the product looks like, but in the end, you start to get teams that are at least they're trying to build something rather than just be now. If you're tanking for 10 years and you're never win anything or never get anywhere, then all right, then that's a whole nother thing. But I think that there's nothing wrong with tanking. I think tanking can work in your favor as long as you play your cards right. Trade off pieces. That's why I didn't really have a big issue with people talking about trading Max, but I just think from a culture standpoint, I know we got the number one pick, and this sounds kind of wild to say, but I don't think the Raiders are that bad of a team that you need to get rid of Max. I don't think that this is a 5 to 7 year project. I think within 3 years, the Raiders are going to make a playoff. And that's in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Raider fan, but you know what I mean. Um, More likely, this is I give a couple scenarios and things that are more likely to happen. But we're doing the NBA Finals edition, so we're going to go Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Who's more likely to make the finals? So on the Eastern Conference side, we got the Cavs, Cleveland Cavaliers getting James Harden, trading away DeAndre Hunter, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and now you got James Harden running the point, came in seamlessly, um, injected himself into the lineup, and now they're playing well, playing really good basketball. Um, but the thing with them is like, I trust Donovan Mitchell the ball because he has his moments. He has his moments in the playoffs where he doesn't play well, but for the most part, Donovan Mitchell's going to play well. I think, given what James Harden can do, opens things up for Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And so I think knowing that you don't need James to be the number one option, and maybe even possibly the second option, and he could just play off of the bigs and make sure that Donovan Mitchell gets the rock and then pick his spots. I like the Cavs, but they're kind of in that I don't believe in them until they show me. So I'm not gonna go with the Cavs. Then you got the New York Knicks. As long as everybody's healthy and out there, they're as good as anybody. But I know that everybody doesn't go with the young team that's coming up. People always feel like, oh, you got to go through got to take a few L's before you can really be able to do anything. Um, and so I think I like the Pistons. I think the Pistons, when you have someone that's not afraid of the moment, I think it makes it a little easier to follow. And so I think Cade Cunningham is becoming everything that we thought he would be, and a lot of people said he would. Um, so for me right now, I'm gonna go Pistons are more likely to make it to the finals. Um, I do think that the Knicks have as good a chance as anybody. I think that if we took the method, what everyone is saying, where you got to take your losses and then you'll get further and further, this should be the Knicks year. Now, the number 2 team in the East is the Celtics, so they have as good a chance as anybody. But I don't know if with no Jason Tatum, can Jaylen Brown get them to a finals on his back? As great as I think he is, and I do kind of like him more than I like Tatum, but I don't know if he can do it by himself given that roster. You know what I mean? So as much as I want to put them in that conversation, to me they're not quite there. They're just like a little bit off, even though from a record standpoint, they're right behind the Pistons. But I do think the Pistons are more likely to get to the finals um, out of the Eastern Conference and get to the NBA Finals. On the Western Conference, we got OKC, Shea, Chet, Jalen Williams, and them guys. I like them, but there's just something about this. My gut is telling me they're not repeating. How well or how much they struggle against the Spurs. And I know styles make fights sometimes, but I just don't know if they can beat the Spurs. Hold up. Yeah, because I'm like, I think that they, in this season, yeah, in this year, the Spurs have won more games against the Thunder than the Thunder beat the Spurs. And so I think when we start to have these conversations, it's like, all right, if people match up against each other, what are we going to do? And I don't know, man. I just like I want to say the Thunder, but if they match up with the Spurs, and the Spurs are more likely, but the Spurs being so young, is where I kind of want to side with the Nuggets. And if everyone is healthy, I think if Cam is healthy, you still got Aaron Gordon, you got Jamal Murray, and Jokic balling, big man balling. I just find it hard to. I got it Pistons Nuggets in the finals this year. I just think that Jokic, the way that Jokic is playing good defense. The Spurs, I just think they're a little young. Um, but if Wemby can be Wemby that we know he can be, this is he's about to start being a scary sight for a lot of teams. So, but I am going to go Denver, Denver in the Western Conference, and I got Pistons in the Eastern Conference. Who's more likely to get to the finals? Them two. And then we got defensive standouts. Combine is popping up after this week. I will start doing my. I think I'm gonna give the. I think we should have this week and then next week should be the NFL Combine. Let's see, NFL Combine. When? All right, so February 23rd through the 2nd. So next week. The NFL Combine will be in Indianapolis. And so these are some of the standouts, people that you should look out for. Ruben Bain, edge rusher out of Miami, dominated on their run to the in the college football playoff to the national championship game. They came up short, still played well, high motor, very technically sound. Edge rusher, I probably got them edge one, regardless of which side you want to put them on, right side, left side. Trey Moore out of Texas, high upside, athletic edge rusher out of Texas. My boy Caleb Downs, safety out of OSU, originally signed to Alabama, transferred to Ohio State, won a chip in their first year. Probably the highest graded safety since Kyle Hamilton, if not one of the highest rated safeties over the last 10 years. So I'm looking forward to that. Dante Corleone out of Cincinnati, elite defensive tackle. Cincinnati doesn't necessarily you don't. I think if you know ball, that you would say Cincinnati has some talent over there. But if you don't know ball, not your average football program or conference, not one of the most elite, but always you see certain players, Travis Kelce, Sauce Gardner, to name a few. From a football standpoint, Kenyon Martin on the basketball side, but elite talent. Curious to see how they look against some of their peers in this draft. And then Jayshon Barham out of Michigan. I hate Michigan, but impact linebacker. Wrapping up my top five that I'm looking forward to see what they do out there. This is one of my favorite times of the year. I get to go into my scouting bag, you know what I mean, and give my projection. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Most of the time I know what I'm talking about. Every now and then there's some people that slip through the crack. I was right on Sam Darnold for the first 7 years though. Yeah. I said he was gonna be buns, and then he was buns, and then that's why I said when he got his chip, or when he got to the championship, or to the Super Bowl. Hey, I said what I said, and I'm not backing down for it. I'm going to stand on it. But I was wrong, so my fault. Put some respect on Samuel's name. All right. And then, where did it go? Dolphins release Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill, officially starting the rebuild. I kind of felt like something was up with the head coaching decision they made, who they took, defensive coordinator from the Packers. I mean, but they got talent over there, so I feel like with this was just one of those hires that you knew this was going to be a little bit of a. They're not just going to start day one and be nice. And so Tua, they got a decision they got to make with Tua. Where do you go here, and where does he go from here? Honestly, Because Quinn Ewers got burned last year. Do you bring in and do you draft a quarterback? Do you bring in someone or do you try to develop around Quinn Ewers and his talent? Do you? I mean, with Tua, I think he's supposed to get 50 mil guaranteed this year, so it's kind of like you kind of don't, from a business standpoint, don't have a choice. I think if they release him, it's like 90 million in dead cap. Um, and so yeah, I they did it to themselves though. I tried to tell them or tell y'all, Tua was not that. What y'all think he is? He's a good quarterback or a decent quarterback, but he he's just not that guy. He's not a ceiling riser. Like Cam would say, he's a game manager. And not one of the most elite game managers either. I think that given talent, he can get them the ball, but when you need him, I don't think that he got like that ice water in his veins. You know what I mean? And so Dolphins blow it up. Bradley Chubb is definitely going to have a market for Bradley Chubb. There, I would say look for teams like Eagles, Bears. That's somebody I would say the Raiders should look at. They got a lot of cap space. Tyreek Hill, where does he go from here? Buffalo was started thinking about like if he went to like the Ravens, that would kind of go crazy. Um, can go back to Kansas City. Um, and so I think the thing with Tyreek Hill is given the injury and the type of injury that he had and how quick and fast he is, how does he look coming back from that injury? We'll say, all right, where we are from here. But I think that given his injury and his age, he's not going to get quite the market that you would think, given his how good he is and the fact that most people would say he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But coming off that injury, what player are you getting now? Are you getting that first ballot Hall of Famer, or are you getting a shell of that person? And uh, I know he got hurt early, so he's probably like 5 months into that recovery period. So yeah, I'm curious how things coming along. I'm sure we'll start seeing videos pop up any day now. And then we got our fast break as we wrap up and finish up. T Mac was talking about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is right there with SGA, if not better. Is this facts or is he tweaking? And I think when we say Anthony Edwards is right there with SGA, facts. If not better, I think this part here is can be he tweaking, but really, if you know ball and how does the game look on the eyes? I think SGA's game for a lot of people, the foul merchant, the free throw merchant that he's got the nickname of, I think that sometimes can be a little off-putting to people. Where Anthony Edwards is not flopping, running through people, playing defense, getting buckets, going hard to the rim, talking shit. And that's the thing for me that I think most people are not going to push back too hard on that if you really know ball. But it's the if not better part that makes it where I don't know, man, because there's a reason why SGA is in these MVP talks, and he's typically one or two over the last couple of years. Where Anthony Edwards is just talking about like people can see him winning an MVP in his career. So I do think that there's slight levels to it, but it's facts until you say if not better. Now it's tweak. Now you're tweaking game. And so, how should the Cleveland Browns handle Shador's development? I think there's this conversation that I've seen them having on Speakeasy where do you bring in, when you bring in someone to make that quarterback room stronger, do you bring in someone that you know is supposed to be a mentor to Shador and not win the spot, or do you bring in some competition to where he really has to give his all in order to get that? And so, me personally, I think you bring in someone that you think will be serviceable, but you make Shador comfortable to be able to go out there, make mistakes, learn the offense. I think Todd Monken can call a good offense and get something out of him. Now, what's his quarterback development look like when it comes to that from an offensive standpoint? But I think that get Shador weapons, make sure that they block for him. Um, Judkins is a good running back. Maybe get a second running back so he can split some carries and keep fresh legs. Um, and make sure Shador has weapons. And I think that gets you a good veteran quarterback that can mentor him and be there as a help, but also be serviceable if something was to happen to him. I think that's the best way to handle it and how I would handle it. I think Shador, like I said, I thought last year he was the best quarterback and the most ready quarterback on day one. I just don't think he had any of the development that other quarterbacks had going into their first start and the rest of the season, honestly. Uh, Upper management in sports needs to get out of their own way. I think that there's a lot of like attachment to what players used to be, and it's like they do things backwards. The older players that should be in your locker room that can do things that lead to wins and losses in a positive way, affect winning in a positive way. You get rid of those people, but then you hold on to these to legends for too long, like the Steelers. You hold on to Ben Roethlisberger for too damn long. You bring in Aaron Rodgers' old ass, and now they're talking about whether or not they should keep him because McCarthy is now the head coach. And it's like, come on now, like what are we doing here? Now you got yourself in a position to where it's like, do you go Will Howard after year one and give him an opportunity? Do you draft a quarterback where for years you could have used these older quarterbacks to be bridges? I think ultimately at this point, and even over the last 3 years, Aaron Rodgers has been a bridge quarterback. If you thought Aaron Rodgers was coming here, you're going to win a Super Bowl, among a Super Bowl, and then another Super Bowl. No. Aaron Rodgers at best could have got you one Super Bowl in that 3-year span. After that, you should have him, or you should have a quarterback that is in development coming, because now we should be at a point where Aaron Rodgers can run off into the sunset and the Steelers have their quarterback of the future. But handling things like the way that they do, upper management got to get out their way, man. And as a society, we got to stop over analyzing shit, gang. I seen Jackson Dart was on a mechanical bull at a bar. And then this is a sports topic of, do we have a problem with it? Let that man or let that kid, let that man have some fun. He's a grown adult at this point. He's in his early 20s. Let him have fun. If he gets hurt, then that's the risk he took. I understand as a business and a quarterback, and they're so important, most important. But like, he's also in his early 20s. He's a millionaire now. Let that boy go have some fun and enjoy himself. Mechanical bulls. How often do people get hurt on mechanical bulls? Because they have so much padding around a mechanical bull when you fall off, that how often do people get hurt? It can't be that high of a number. And then another thing, Michael Jordan helping the little boy get ice out his shirt, but everybody want to call him a pedophile. And it's like, I think when people have this idea and don't like you, it don't matter what it is that you do. If it's kind of like, if I can flip it into something and stretch it into something, oh, they will. You give them an inch and they will take a fucking mile. Because this shit is wild. The amount of people that I've seen call him a PDF and a pedophile and, oh, surprised he wasn't in the Epstein files. And during the peak of these Epstein files is when Mike was at his peak as an athlete and one of the most famous people in the world. So he should have been on there if he was in that crowd, right? But he wasn't. So not to say that doesn't mean he can't be a PDF, but like, y'all be stretching shit. Then I see people throwing away their shoes. You finna take them shoes out that trash after you done this video. Cut the cap. You're not throwing away them expensive ass Jordan. Don't piss me off. But thank you all for watching. I do got to get up out of here. I appreciate you all. Hope everybody is having a good start to the week. Had a good weekend. NBA is back in full effect. I will be hopping on the homies pod tomorrow. to talk about that. Let's start trying to do some more collabs. But like I said, Two Goobs dropping on Friday, brand new episode. I got a King's Court Two Goobs collab coming up from an old video. I still had locks in the video. That's the funny part. And then I'm doing another cannabis review tomorrow. But make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Subscribe at JUK Network. Got some stuff coming up the pipeline. Going to be posting on Facebook soon for all of that content as well. Follow me at KYNG RALPH on TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Twitch, and then add an underscore for extra Twitter. And I got to get up out of here. Peace. Love y'all. Say something in the chat next time if you're going to watch. I appreciate you.